Women over 60. 5 things men say when they're not serious about you. 80% ignore number 4. Welcome to Wise Life After 60. So grateful to have you here. What if I told you that the sweetest things a man says could actually be the biggest red flags? For years, dating advice has repeated the same message. Listen to his words, trust what he tells you, believe him when he says how he feels. But in love after 60, I have learned a harder truth. The men who are not serious have already mastered the script. They know exactly what to say to make you feel chosen, special, seen. Yet they have no intention of standing behind those words. They are not telling bold lies. Instead, they use phrases that sound romantic, thoughtful, even emotionally deep. But these phrases are really strategies designed to avoid responsibility. They create a sense of connection without offering commitment. They sound like promises, but they function as escape routes. They give warmth without effort and affection without accountability. And many women fall for them because these words feel familiar and comforting, especially in dating after 60 when emotional connection is precious. In this video, I want to decode the 5 specific phrases men use when they are not serious. I will walk you through the psychology behind them, why they work so well, and why so many women overlook their true meaning. If this message resonates, I'd love it for you to like the video and subscribe to Wise Life After 60 so we can keep growing together. And before we look at those 5 phrases, we need to understand the quiet psychology that shapes how non-serious men speak. The psychology behind non-serious men and their language. Have you ever noticed that some men can speak beautifully, yet leave you feeling strangely unsure? There is a reason for that unsettling feeling, and it has nothing to do with you being too emotional, too hopeful, or too trusting. What many women don't realize is that a man who isn't serious is rarely trying to be cruel. He is usually trying to protect something far more important to him than commitment: his comfort. Most non-serious men don't sit down and think, "How can I hurt her?" They simply want to keep their emotional freedom, their options, and their sense of ease. And language becomes the perfect tool for achieving all 3 at once. A man who intends to build something real speaks in ways that create clarity. His words carry weight. You can measure them, revisit them, and watch them turn into actions. A man who avoids responsibility, on the other hand, uses a completely different style of communication. His language is soft, warm, and emotionally rich, yet strategically vague. He doesn't lie outright, but he never gives the whole truth either. It is a form of intentional fog, what psychologists call strategic ambiguity. His sentences are crafted just carefully enough to stir your hope, yet loose enough that he can escape through any corner. These phrases work because they tap directly into your optimism. They give you just enough to imagine a future, but never enough to secure it. They sound deep, but if you pause and look closely, nothing is truly said. No timelines, no follow-through, no concrete intentions. Just emotional poetry with no architecture behind it. Meanwhile, he enjoys everything that clarity would require effort to earn: your emotional investment, your time, your patience, and your companionship. And the most interesting part
is that many men don't even see themselves as deceptive. They've repeated these emotionally open phrases for so long that they sound genuine even to their own ears. Now, let's move gently into the first one and look at how it reveals itself in real conversation.
Phrase number 1. I'm not ready for a relationship right now. It always begins so softly, doesn't it? A gentle confession wrapped in vulnerability. When a man looks at you with kind eyes and says he isn't ready for a relationship right now, it can feel disarming in the most human way. The phrasing is delicate, almost tender, as if he is protecting you from disappointment. But what he is really protecting is his freedom from accountability. Most women hear the words right now and unknowingly translate them into not yet, as though time is the only barrier and patience will eventually transform him into a committed partner. It is a hopeful misunderstanding, and hope can be a powerful illusion. The truth beneath this phrase is far less romantic. What he is actually saying is, I don't want the responsibility that comes with being your partner, but I do want to keep the benefits of being close to you. This is why the phrase is so skillful. It removes all pressure from him while keeping you emotionally anchored. He frames the issue as timing rather than intention. If it's about timing, then you can't question his feelings. You can only wait. A man who is genuinely serious but momentarily constrained will tell you what is standing in the way. He will give a time frame, a circumstance, or a concrete reason. Men with real intentions speak with detail. Men without them speak with air. And in this case, the air is filled with just enough softness to make you hesitate before stepping back. What makes this phrase so dangerous is not the words themselves, but the silence that follows. Nothing happens. Nothing changes. Yet you remain emotionally suspended, believing readiness is just around the corner. But readiness is not a season that arrives. It is a decision. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever had someone tell you they weren't ready? And looking back, do you feel it was about timing or about intention? Share your story in the comments if you feel comfortable. Sometimes the quietest truths reveal themselves when we listen between the lines. Now, let's slow down and explore the next phrase, the one that hides in plain sight behind a mask of effortless calm. Phrase number 2. Let's just see where this goes. There's a special kind of confusion that comes from a man who sounds open but says absolutely nothing at all. Let's just see where this goes is one of those phrases that feels gentle, easy, peaceful even. It gives the impression that he's willing to explore the connection, that he's relaxed, unpressured, and letting things unfold naturally. But in reality, this sentence is the perfect disguise for passivity. It looks like openness, but it functions as a shield against accountability. A man who wants to define a relationship will talk about the future with intention. He will name things. He will set direction. But a man who says, let's just see where this goes, is telling you something very different. I want the benefits of being close to you without taking responsibility for where this closeness leads. He frames indecision as wisdom, uncertainty as a virtue, and avoidance as emotional balance. Women often stay in this gray space for months because it feels hopeful. You feel included when he says, let's, as though the two of you are making a mutual choice to move slowly. But the truth is that only one person benefits from this ambiguity. Take a simple example. A woman I once spoke with spent 8 months hearing this phrase. Every time she brought up exclusivity, he smiled and said, why rush something good? Yet during those same 8 months, nothing changed. No plans, no clarity, no forward motion. She was investing emotionally while he was investing nothing but time. Or think of the woman who asked a man whether he saw long-term potential. He laughed lightly, kissed her forehead, and whispered, let's just enjoy this.
It sounded loving, but it was a gentle refusal wrapped in affection. She felt safe in the moment, but lost in the months that followed. Relationships do not drift into meaning. They are chosen into meaning. So let's keep going, because the next phrase is one that often sounds selfless, yet hides a deeper avoidance beneath the surface.
Phrase number 3. You deserve someone better than me. Few sentences feel as noble on the surface, yet as hollow underneath as this one. When a man sighs and tells you that you deserve someone better, it can land in your heart like a strange mixture of tenderness and sadness. It feels as though he is being humble, even protective, as if he's stepping aside for your good. But this phrase is rarely a gesture of self-awareness. More often, it is a subtle strategy to avoid growth. By declaring himself not good enough, he disarms your ability to hold him accountable. He frames his shortcomings as destiny, rather than as choices he could change. This phrase creates an emotional paradox. If you challenge him, you feel cruel. If you leave, you feel guilty. If you stay, you become the one understanding him, carrying the weight of his potential while he avoids doing the work. It is one of the most effective forms of emotional misdirection, because it names the problem but offers no solution. He acknowledges the disappointment without taking a single step toward improvement. A man who truly believes you deserve more will step out of your way so you can receive it. He will not occupy a central place in your life while refusing to grow. And he certainly will not let you carry the burden of justifying his lack of effort. But a man who uses this phrase strategically has discovered something powerful. If he calls himself the problem before you do, he avoids the responsibility of changing. He wears humility like a mask, turning avoidance into something that sounds selfless. It's important to remember that self-criticism is not the same as self-improvement. One protects his comfort. The other protects your well-being. And I'm curious how this lands for you. Have you ever had someone use this phrase, and did it feel like honesty or avoidance? If you'd like to share your experience, the comments are always a gentle space for conversation. Let's continue, because the next phrase is one of the most emotionally charged lines a man can use, and one that keeps many women waiting far longer than they should.
Phrase number 4. I've never felt this way before. It's amazing how a single sentence can make you feel rare, chosen, almost irreplaceable even, when nothing in his actions supports it. When a man breathes out the words, "I've never felt this way before," it strikes a deep emotional chord. It paints you as the exception, the miracle, the one who awakens something inside him that no one else ever has. And for a woman in her 60s or 70s who values emotional depth and authentic connection, that feeling of uniqueness can be incredibly powerful. But here is the quiet truth most people overlook. This sentence describes an emotion, not a decision. It elevates the moment while avoiding the future. It sounds intimate, but intimacy without direction becomes nothing more than a beautiful detour. Men often use this phrase after emotional or physical closeness, moments when the connection feels heightened and unguarded. It's easy to believe that intensity equals commitment, but intensity is temporary. Commitment requires intention, clarity, and choice. Consider a woman who shared her story with me. After months of deep conversations and passionate chemistry, he told her she made him feel things he'd never felt before. She believed their bond was extraordinary, yet every time she asked what they were building together, he became confused and distant. His emotions were strong, but his decisions were absent. Another woman experienced it with a man who called her his once-in-a-lifetime. He cried with her, opened up about his past, shared dreams he never voiced before. But when she gently asked about defining the relationship, he insisted labels weren't necessary because the way he felt was already proof. His feelings were vivid. His commitment was non-existent. This phrase keeps women stuck because it taps into something universal. We all want to feel special. We all want to be the unexpected spark in someone's life. But emotional intensity without behavior has no structure to support you. Chemistry is effortless. Building a relationship is not. And so the truth becomes clear. Feeling is not choosing. Emotion is not commitment. And a man who truly means his words will eventually support them with direction, consistency, and action. Now that we've explored the world of emotional intensity, let's move to something far subtler, the illusion of future plans that never quite materialize.
Phrase number 5. We should do that sometime. Some phrases don't break your heart. They quietly waste your time. We should do that sometime is one of those deceptively light sentences that floats into a conversation and makes you feel momentarily included in a man's imagined future. It sounds casual, friendly, even optimistic. It gives the impression that he sees possibilities with you, that he envisions shared experiences just waiting for the right moment. But if you listen closely, you'll notice something important. This phrase is all imagination and no intention. It's an emotional placeholder, a suggestion without structure. The word should flatters you with the idea of a future together, while sometime removes any responsibility to make it real. He enjoys the spark that comes from thinking about a life with you, but avoids the effort required to bring any part of it into existence. Nothing is scheduled. Nothing is followed up on. Nothing moves. Over time, hearing it again and again creates a soft illusion. You start to feel woven into his life, even though nothing has materialized. You picture trips, dinners, concerts, new memories, all based on hypothetical promises that gently evaporate as the weeks go by. And what is most revealing is how different he behaves in other areas of his life. With his friends, he confirms plans. With his family, he commits to dates. With you, the future remains a fog of sometime. The truth is simple, but not always easy to accept. When a man wants something, he moves toward it. When he is unsure, he drifts. And drifting creates the feeling of a connection without the reality of one. It may help to remember an old saying that has guided many wise hearts throughout the years. Intentions shape the path, but actions walk it. A man can imagine 1,000 versions of life with you, but unless he takes steps toward even one of them, you are holding on to dreams he never plans to build. When you begin to notice these phrases, the most important thing you can do is trust what you see, not what you hope for. It's easy to use romantic language to justify a man's intentions, but the truth always lives in his actions, his clarity, and his consistency. A man who is serious will not rely on poetic emotion to keep you close. He will show you through steady behavior what you mean to him. The real test isn't whether he says he's never felt this way before. It's whether he acts like someone who wants to build something real. It's not whether he whispers, "Let's see where this goes." It's whether he actually knows where he wants to go with you. And it's certainly not whether he claims you deserve better. It's whether he becomes better. Your time, your heart, and your presence are valuable. You do not need to keep offering them to someone who treats commitment as optional while expecting connection as guaranteed. If understanding these patterns brought you clarity, I invite you to like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share your own experience with these phrases in the comments. Your story may help another woman see more clearly. And remember this: the right man will never require you to interpret hidden meanings.
He will meet you with clarity, honesty, and intention. And now you have the language to recognize that kind of love.